The area of a triangle is going to be represented as 1/2 times the base times the height. Sometimes the area of a triangle is written as base times height divided by 2. Those two things are exactly the same. So it does not matter which of these two you use. You can set it up whichever way you feel more comfortable with. Remember that the b variable represents the base and the height is represented by h. Now, the way that you find the height and the base is going to be represented as one of the lengths of the triangle, so the full length of the triangle. The height is represented by a perpendicular line that goes from a vertex to the base of the triangle. So if this is representing your base, your height should be found by drawing a perpendicular line from the vertex opposite of that base, perpendicular line down to the base. So that's how you know that that is your height. So if your height was so if this was your base, you would want your height to be drawn from this vertex to that base. Now, this is what it would look like if it were an acute triangle. I will go over an example of a right triangle and what that looks like. We also have obtuse triangles. So an obtuse triangle looking like this. Okay, so this triangle, this is an obtuse triangle. So for example, if this were your base, your height would have to be going from, imagine that this base kept going. I'll put a dotted line because it actually doesn't. It would have to be the height would have to come from the vertex opposite the base. This is the vertex opposite of the base. And again, the way you get the height is you go from that vertex straight down, right angle, perpendicular line. So then this represents your height. So the height in an obtuse triangle, so again, this is obtuse, is going to be found on the outside of the triangle. This is your acute triangle. And like I said, I will go over an example for a right triangle. Okay. So, you would find the base, you'd find the height, and you would just plug it in to find your area. Remember that for a triangle, it's going, since the base is going to have a unit of measure, the height is going to have a unit of measure. It's going to be units times units, which equal whatever the units are squared. Right? So just like x times x gives you x squared, units times units, like feet times feet, will give you feet squared. So keep that in mind when you're getting to your answer. Let's go over this example here. So in this example here, we're going to notice it is a right triangle. I usually like the base to be the bottom as best I can see it. So I'm going to say that my base is 7. Okay, now your height should come from the vertex opposite that base, and it should be the length of the perpendicular line to that base. So this is going to be our height. What you will notice is that the height is not given to us, but this is a right triangle. So never fear, Pythagorean is here. Pythagorean theorem being represented by leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared will allow us to find that height, right? Now that height that we don't know, I'm going to call it h, is a leg, right? So this is going to be a leg squared plus a leg squared is our hypotenuse squared, hypotenuse being opposite the right angle. So represented by this length here. We do know the hypotenuse. What we don't know is we don't know the height, but we do know the hypotenuse. But as long as we know 2 side lengths of a right triangle, we can find the third side using Pythagorean theorem. So I'm going to make this be my A. So it's going to be leg squared, so 7 squared, plus the other leg, which I'm going to call h. H squared equals hypotenuse squared, 18.2 squared. I know 7 squared is 49. I don't need a calculator for that. And 18.2 squared, 18.2 squared is 331.24. We're going to keep it as 2 decimals. And then I'm going to now solve for h by subtracting 49, leaving me with h squared equals 282.24. 282.24. Again, don't round it until the end. Now to find h, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to square root, right? Square root both sides. And that will give you your value of h. So let's go ahead and square root that. And I'm going to get 16.8. Now remember, that is my height. That is not my area. And what I'm wanting to find in this problem, and I know I didn't write directions, but based off of what I was talking about above, I want to find the area of the triangle. This just gave me my height. Did not tell me my area. Okay, so to find the area of my triangle, I'm going to use that height though, right? So to find the area of my triangle, I'm going to use the formula of 1/2 base times height. So 1/2 times my base, which is 7. So you can use dots for times or you can use parentheses, that's up to you. It doesn't matter. Times 7, that's my base. Remember, this is B. And then times my height, which I found down here to be 16.8 using my Pythagorean theorem. And then from there, it's just a matter of multiplying these 3 together. So I'm going to do 16.8 times 7. And multiplying by 1/2 is the same as dividing by 2. So I get an area of 58.8. And it's feet, right? And remember, area is always units squared, so it's going to be feet squared. Don't forget to label your answer when labels or units of measure are given to you. So that's how you find the area of a triangle. You can watch how you find the area of a circle in a second video, so that this one doesn't take too long for you to watch. So if you like this video, hit like, subscribe to my channel for more of my videos, and good luck with your practice on this.